And then there's the question that we have to get to eventually, which is if broken energy production in the mitochondria is a cause of cancer, we have to then ask, well, what's breaking the mitochondria to begin with? Let's take those one at a time. So talk a little bit more about ketosis and the use of a ketogenic diet, say, as a cancer prevention or treatment modality.
Well, I years ago when I did the calorie restriction stuff, I said, well, when we did the comparative analysis of mouse and human, you have to understand basal metabolic rate. The basal metabolic rate of a mouse is 7 times that of a human. So when we were getting these spectacular responses to calorie restriction in the mouse, we said, wow, let's see, how do we translate that over the human? It's water only fasting. So I said, oh my God, because we saw water only fasting in the human produces the same biochemical parameter changes you see in a mouse under 40% calorie restriction. So we thought, oh, just cut down your food by 40%, you'll get what this mouse does. No. You got to go water only fasting because differences in basal metabolic rate. So I said, wow, that ain't going to fly. How many people with cancer are going to say, oh, now I got to not eat for 14, 20 days, just drink water? People don't want to do that. So we were working with the ketogenic diet in epilepsy. And the little kids seemed to be okay with that. So we said, why don't we try to, because people, that seems at least you're eating something. You're not like feeling you're going to starve to death. And then we started to work the ketogenic diets, our knowledge of ketogenic diets for epilepsy applied to the cancer problem. And that seemed to be a viable solution until everybody went nuts about eating lard and doing all this crazy stuff with ketogenic diets. But what it actually does is a Paleolithic diet, which we realized can put you into nutritional ketosis if you eat foods that are low in carbohydrates, restricted amounts of highly restricted carbohydrates. You can get into a state of nutritional ketosis, just like our Paleolithic ancestors, where there was no highly processed carbs, and foods that would raise blood sugar levels very high. So exercise and low carbohydrates will put you into a state of nutritional ketosis. Now, that state is very, very good for the normal cells of our body because my late friend Richard Veach, Hans Krebs's last student, and I would talk for hours about the value of ketone bodies being a super fuel. They generate more ATP without producing reactive oxygen species. Unbelievable. So we can transition the whole body over to ketones, making the rest of the body super healthy, reducing systemic inflammation, a fuel that the tumor cells can't use. So how do we do that? And the answer is we can take, like on our recent Greek study, you should see this. We were able to keep these glioblastoma patients alive for 3 years or longer on these Mediterranean ketogenic, calorie-restricted Mediterranean diet. It was tremendous. So there's so many ways to get into nutritional ketosis, not just using ketogenic diets. You can use low carbohydrate diets. Your body will start producing ketones naturally from these situations. So that's what we're doing. We're transitioning people to nutritional ketosis, which lowers glucose and lowers blood sugar and replaces the sugar with ketones. The brain can burn it, heart can burn it, muscles can burn it, cancers cannot burn it. And then we have to go after the glutamine targeting with drugs, because we have to target the glutamine with drugs and exercise.
So is the essence of what you're saying here, or part of it, that if you put someone into nutritional ketosis, they're using ketone bodies like BHB to generate energy much more so than they're using glucose, because it's a very ultra low carb diet and you're getting a high fat intake. So is what you're saying that you're essentially, because cancer cells can't use those fatty acids, that you're essentially starving them, but your other non-cancer cells are not starved because they can use those ketone bodies?
Yes, it's a transition. Our body evolved. We're a very versatile machine. We have survived on this planet under the most stringent conditions. We're all alive today because of the flexibility of our bioenergetic systems. The cancer cell have compromised that bioenergetic system by having dysfunctional oxidative phosphorylation, pigeonholing them into a fermentation metabolism.
Yeah. So they're metabolically inflexible, which is the very adaptation that is part of what makes us human in many ways, you could argue.